What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be doing another Manchester City transfer update. Do remember, from January 1st, I'm going to be doing daily Manchester City transfer updates throughout the whole winter transfer window for you guys to enjoy. So if you want to stay up to date, first and fast with all the latest Manchester City transfer news in the January transfer window, then make sure you have subscribed to my channel. It is free. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and check out my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and do leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. So we're going to crack on with this video. We're going to start off with the outs, and we've got the very latest on Oscar Bobb. Now, Fabrizio Romano has said that back in August, Manchester City rejected 3 loan bids for Oscar Bobb, including a loan offer that came in from Lazio. And I do suspect that the stance in the summer is the exact same stance that City are heading into the winter transfer window as well. And that very much is that Oscar Bobb remains part of the Manchester City first team squad. City want him there for the experience, the exposure, and also squad depth. So I'm hoping that over the coming weeks and months we're going to be seeing more of Oscar Bobb, because when we have seen him for Manchester City in that first team, he has looked quality in my opinion. So if we're fighting hard and doing everything we can to keep hold of him, hopefully we can get him some more minutes and more starts as well to showcase what he can do. Now, moving on to the ins, we've got a new name comes in the form of Savio, sometimes referred to as Savinho. He's a Brazilian 19-year-old attacker, plays for Girona, who are part of the City football group, which could be crucial. He's played 13 times in La Liga so far this season, scoring 4 and assisting 4. He can play left wing, he can play up top as well. He is an attacker, and Mundo Deportivo say that Barcelona, they are keen on signing Savio from Girona. Of course, Girona just next door to Barcelona in terms of the geography of Spain. And they're saying that Deco, who has influence and a say on Barcelona's transfers, that he likes Savio and would like Barcelona to sign him. However, the stance from Barcelona and the stance from Deco is that they feel like he's going to cost a lot of money, and when it comes to having first dibs on Savio, it's Manchester City that will have the say on what happens there, because they're part Girona of the City football group, and Manchester City will get a say in the business, and of course any of the top upcoming talents that are coming from any of the CFG clubs, including Girona. And so it's believed that if he was to leave Girona, Manchester City would have first dibs on him. Now, whether Man City choose to make a move or feel like it'd have something to offer to Manchester City or not remains to be seen, but Barcelona's stance is to feel like Savio is going to be very expensive, because not only are you negotiating with Girona, you're negotiating with the City football group as well, and they feel like that may just be a step too far. But I find it very interesting, once more, City getting linked with attackers and wingers, and everything's pointing towards potentially an attacker leaving Manchester City. Not expecting that to happen in the winter, but I do think that's going to come in the summer. And I think the player with a big question mark over his head is Bernardo Silva, with his release clause and him being wanted around Europe with Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona all interested. With that €50 million release clause, I don't think Bernardo Silva past this summer will be a Manchester City player, which opens up space in attack and in midfield for Man City to add a couple of quality players. And I think that's why we're getting linked with wide players and attacking players. And our final story of this video is no different, takes us on to a player that we've not really spoken about in a good few months, and it takes us on to Khvicha, the Georgian and Napoli winger, who's once more impressing the scouts and impressing Manchester City. Now, 90-minute football, and they're not the only ones reporting this. They have said that Manchester City and a host of Premier League clubs over this current international break have sent scouts out to go and watch Georgia, to go and watch Khvicha play, because these Premier League teams, they are interested, including that of Manchester City. It's believed City, United, Newcastle and Chelsea all had scouts out having a look at Khvicha to see what he could offer to their team. And Manchester City, as I said, could well be looking at wide players. I think the complication that you've got here with this deal is Khvicha does have a release clause with Napoli, very expensive. I think it's over €100 million. There is not often much room for negotiations with Napoli, and with that being said, I don't see Manchester City in a hurry wanting to get involved with transfers involving Napoli unless they're happy to pay that release clause. Are City happy to pay north of €100 million to bring in Khvicha? Remains to be seen. It's a big risk to take to sign a player from Serie A to bring him over to the Premier League when he's never played in England and he's never played in the Premier League before. He doesn't have that experience. It will take time for him to adapt to the league, to the culture and everything else that comes with an international move. And so if you're going to be spending a lot of money, you really want these players to be hitting the ground running and you want them to be a great success. Now, I reckon Khvicha would be of interest not only to City but other Premier League clubs for the right price. I don't think Napoli will negotiate on that release clause. If we want to sign him, we've got to be happy to pay that release clause, and I'm not entirely convinced that we will. And if we have to go into negotiations with Napoli, I just don't see us doing that. Not after what happened with the Jorginho saga, not what happened involving the Kalidou Koulibaly saga as well. I just don't see Manchester City doing that again and making that mistake for a third time. Napoli are notorious in being difficult to negotiate with. They're 10 times worse than what Brighton are, and I think Brighton are the worst team to negotiate with when it comes to transfers and trying to sign players. But you've got to understand it from a selling point of view. These are prized assets. These are irreplaceable players. These are expensive players, and these clubs, not only do they rely on the income, they also don't want to have their players taken off them for cheap to be sold to somebody else through a big team trying to bully them. And they will drive the hardest of bargains. Brighton are difficult to negotiate with. Napoli are a completely different ball game. I've dealt with 2 sagas with them that have lasted the whole summer, over 2 summers. That's how difficult they are to negotiate with. And us to then step in and say we want to negotiate for Khvicha is just going to end in one way. In weeks, if not months worth of talks and negotiations to make no progress, for us to get basically have a march stolen on us by another team who's willing to pay a little bit more. Manchester City don't like negotiating. Napoli don't like selling for cheap, and so it's a recipe for disaster. There's a release clause there for a reason. If we're happy to pay that release clause, be my guest, nothing Napoli can do with it. Involves very little conversation, makes it a simple, straightforward transfer. Don't think Manchester City are going to do that though, which means could well be quite complicated when it comes to this transfer. But once again, Khvicha, a name being mentioned in and around Manchester City. Would love to know your thoughts of that, guys, in the comments below. So there we go, that has been today's transfer update. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you do leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new around here. It is free. Remember, daily Manchester City transfer updates throughout the winter January transfer window from January 1st. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll see you all again tomorrow for the next Manchester City video, as we'll be previewing this weekend's massive game between Manchester City and Liverpool. I'll see you for that. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.